Every week, I provide access to authentic documents from closed archives. There is no artistic fiction here. If you're watching this, it means the material has already breached the system. We assume no responsibility for what you learn. Subscribe. Knowledge is irreversible. It all happened in September 2006. The weather had just been warm, bright, and sunny when suddenly real autumn arrived. Rain, wind, cold, the world turned grey. Once again, it was time to wake up to the alarm clock and drag myself to school for the first lesson. Mark, my school friend, had changed noticeably. Before, he was just like the rest of us, a regular guy, a bit silly, getting mostly C's and B's, loving football, computer games, music, and all that stuff. Then suddenly he became a loner. During breaks he sat alone, writing something in his notebook and asking not to be disturbed. He hadn't been like this during summer vacation, but shortly after school started, he withdrew into himself. Though he wasn't studying particularly hard, he only went to school for appearances and sometimes skipped classes. It was strange. I started hanging out with other guys and picked up all sorts of stupid rumors. For a whole week at school, everyone was talking about one tragic incident. A guy from the parallel class had died. His name was Nick Ribnikov. It was a mysterious death. They said it happened at night. He was found at home on the couch in front of the TV that was still on. And supposedly, it wasn't the first case. Several people in the city had already died for no apparent reason. What united them all was that they had been watching the midnight broadcast. Nick saw the night show. That's why he died, Greg Horishkevich said, as if it were obvious. I thought it was complete nonsense. What night show, I asked. You don't know, Greg was surprised. If you watch TV at night, you might accidentally catch the deadly program. Your brain boils and fries inside your skull. I considered myself too old to believe such stupidity. And what do they show on it? No one could answer that. Everyone who had seen the night show was dead. The guy spoke completely seriously, believing every word. Then how do we even know such a program exists if no one alive has seen it? I asked. Greg tapped his finger on his temple. Logic, Alex, logic. A person was watching TV at night, and then they found him dead. I chuckled. Interesting for a children's horror story. Even if there is a deadly broadcast, who would put it on air? Nobody puts it on, Greg replied. It exists on its own. You get it? I kept insisting it was a children's scary tale. The guy clicked his tongue and shook his head. Tell that to Nick Ribnikov. Such conversations made me miss Mark's company. The other guys seemed stuck in distant childhood. I wasn't used to imposing myself, but our friendship meant a lot to me. I approached Mark in the school cafeteria. He was sitting there with his hood pulled low over his eyes, writing something in his notebook and only pausing to take a sip of tea. I bought some tea and a sweet bun, then sat down next to him. Hey Mark. Yo, he muttered without looking up. Is everything okay? I asked. Everything's fine. His answer was automatic, like he wasn't really listening. You've been pretty quiet lately, I noted. I don't see the point in talking just for the sake of it, Mark interrupted. It sounded a bit rude. I thought for a moment. Did I offend you somehow? Did I do something wrong? No, I already told you. I don't see the point in empty chatter. He repeated it and kept writing, covering the page with his hand. Fine, let him be a hermit. I tried to act proud and show that I could manage without him. But deep down, I really missed him. Making new friends wasn't as easy as I thought, so I kept trying to talk to him again. A couple of days later in the cafeteria, I asked, "Is this seat free?" "Drop in," he replied. This time he wasn't writing, just sipping tea with a thoughtful look. "You've changed so much," I said, trying to catch his eye. "You walk alone, you're always silent." "I have a purpose now," Mark answered. "What purpose?" "You wouldn't understand." His tone was arrogant. It pissed me off again, so I moved to another table. He didn't even seem to notice. It hurt. I wanted to just forget about him, but I couldn't. Despair was crushing me. Luckily, soon this stopped being my biggest problem. Something terrible burst into my life on Thursday night. I was sleeping soundly when I suddenly woke up. My head was pounding. There was a faint ringing in my ears like a TV signal. I turned away from the wall and looked at the door. A pale light was flickering under the threshold. Was Mom still watching TV, or had she just forgotten to turn it off? "Mom?" No answer, only a strange static noise. Reluctantly, I got out of bed, already annoyed that I had to do this. Music was coming from behind the door, a melancholic, repeating melody. A slow waltz played on an old, slightly out-of-tune piano, or maybe a barrel organ. I opened the door a crack. In the living room, hypnotic light was flickering, those familiar crystal notes from childhood. As if in a dream, I walked toward the sound. The TV in the living room was glowing, filling the whole room. An inner voice whispered that I shouldn't look at the screen, but I couldn't resist. Something forced me to sit in the armchair. Colorful static rippled on the screen. Behind it, something was spinning. I don't know why I sat there watching. My brain just switched off. It felt like the screen was expanding, spreading out and filling everything. The smooth melody grew clearer. The static turned into a recognizable image, an old carousel in the city park. I recognized those colorful horses, the pumpkin carriage, the blue teacup, and the funny donkey with the worn saddle. The carousel's rotation was accompanied by quiet notes. I no longer knew where I was. Was I sitting in the living room or standing in the old park in front of the carousel? Dark green grass, gloomy sky, colorful figures floating past one another. Was this a dream? The carousel seemed empty at first. Then I noticed a rider on one of the horses, or rather, half a rider. Short legs and a small part of the torso were sitting in the saddle. Legs in blue, rolled-up jeans and small sneakers, the kind I had as a child. They were my childhood legs. Horror gripped me. I wanted to run from this vision, but I couldn't. I wanted to close my eyes, but I couldn't. The sounds of the out-of-tune barrel organ replaced my thoughts. Half the body disappeared from view. The pumpkin carriage, teacup, and donkey floated by again. Then empty horses, white, blue, pink, and on the gray one, those legs again. I remembered there was an extension cord near the armchair with the TV plug in it. My body in the living room was outside this nightmare. I had completely lost connection with it. All I could hope for was that my leg would obey, grab the cord with my toes and pull it out. Otherwise, I'd be stuck forever in that gloomy day in front of the old carousel. The screen went dark. I was in darkness, but a greenish square afterimage still hung before my eyes. My heart was racing as if I'd been running, though I was sitting in the armchair with the cord clenched between my toes. I had managed to unplug the TV, and it saved me. I don't know how I did it. I jumped up in fear, ran to the kitchen, turned on the tap, and drank cold water. My throat was dry, and my head hurt like hammers were pounding my temples. My hair was wet with sweat. What the hell was that? A nightmare during sleepwalking? A reasonable explanation. But those rumors about the night show. Something had crawled into my brain, dug up old memories, and mixed them with delirium. As a child, I both loved and feared that carousel. I was scared to get on it. What if I slipped, fell, and got dragged under the platform and torn in half? They had shown me a forgotten childhood fear. Probably something similar is what other people saw before their brains fried. Sleep was out of the question. I sat in bed until morning, dozed a little until the alarm, got ready, and went to school. I couldn't wait to tell someone about it. I had survived the night show. Of course, the guys might say I made it up for attention. I chose the one who would listen without emotion, or even with complete indifference, Mark. At lunch, Mark was sitting in the cafeteria with his usual mug of tea, still in the same hoodie from a week ago. He looked terrible, clothes stained with food, pale face, dark circles under his eyes. His light hair was matted and sticking out from under the hood like old tow. He had completely let himself go because of this so-called purpose. As always, he was writing or drawing in his notebook. "Can I sit?" I asked. "Yeah," he replied. "Mark, can I distract you for a second? Have you heard anything about the night show?" At first he didn't react, but when he heard the last words, he looked up. There was real interest in his eyes. "Yeah, of course I've heard about it. I didn't believe it either, but last night I think I saw it," I said. Mark's eyes widened and he leaned across the table. "You saw it, and you're still alive?" I hadn't expected such a reaction from him. "You believe me? It happened at your place?" he asked impatiently. I nodded. "Does it matter where?" Mark started acting even stranger than before. He used to be impossible to reach, but now he was greedily hanging on every word. I described what happened, waking up to the flickering TV, the music, sitting in front of the screen, the old carousel in the park. "It's him," Mark said, "the noise man." I didn't understand what he was talking about. Mark grabbed the bun from my tray, bit into it, and chewed. "Doesn't matter. Every night I watch TV trying to catch him, but he doesn't want to be caught." "You want to die or something?" I asked. "I want to destroy him." He finished my bun, washed it down with tea, and wiped his mouth on his sleeve. "How do you destroy it?" Now I understood what purpose he was so obsessed with. He had gone completely crazy over the rumors about the night show. "I'll come to your place tonight and explain," Mark promised. I didn't like the idea. "Sorry, I can't invite you. My mom doesn't like late guests. Those are the rules." "What rules? We need to act." He was behaving like a total psycho. I even regretted bringing it up. "Who do you think you are? If you won't let me come over, then smash your TV yourself. It's already part of his network now. The night show is spreading. It will come back to your house." He was right about one thing. The previous night, the TV had almost killed me, even though I hadn't planned to watch it. The light and melody had lured me in. It could happen again, to me or to Mom. I decided to disable our only TV, not smash it, but open the case and remove some important part. But I never got a good moment. When I got home from school, Mom was already there, sitting in the armchair in front of the TV. She stayed glued to it until evening. When the opening music of her favorite show started and the host announced the first trio of players, it was clear this would take a while. I stuck my head in and said, "Mom, you never leave the TV. It's harmful." "So what? I can't not watch it." She barely looked at me. "I bought you a computer. Go play on that. What else do you need?" We used to fight for the TV all the time. She wanted her sappy love stories and movies. I wanted cartoons. Our family wasn't rich, but by the time I was 12, we had scraped together enough for a computer, and I finally caught up with my classmates. I went to my room. After the sleepless night, exhaustion hit me hard. I knew I might fall asleep too early, so I set an alarm for 11:30 p.m. I figured Mom would definitely be asleep by then, and I could sneak into the living room to do what I planned. Either the alarm didn't ring or I didn't hear it, but something inside made me open my eyes. It was 12:02 a.m. Again that quiet ringing. No music yet, just flickering light through the cracked door. I lay on my side and covered my head with the pillow. I couldn't fall under the hypnosis again. Then it hit me. Mom, what if she's still there? Unfortunately, I was right. I don't know if she had stayed up until midnight or returned later. I threw open the door and saw her sitting in the armchair in front of the flickering screen. Her head was tilted, mouth twisted, saliva foaming on her lips, eyes rolling wildly. The night show was killing her. "Mom!" I ran across the carpet, dropped to my knees, and yanked the plug from the extension cord without looking at the screen. The room plunged into darkness. I turned on the floor lamp. Mom was slumped in the chair, one arm hanging limply. Her eyes were closed, drool dripping from her chin. "Mom, can you hear me?" No matter how much I shook her shoulders, she wouldn't wake up, but her heart was still beating. It was a horrifying night. The ambulance seemed to take forever. Grandma didn't answer her phone. She was fast asleep. Finally, the paramedic arrived. He quickly brought Mom around, laying her on her side. She opened her eyes but didn't say a word, just stared straight ahead with wide eyes. They took her to the hospital. I stayed home. I wanted to smash the TV with a hammer, but my hand froze at the last second. Maybe I should call Mark. He knew something about this phenomenon and might be able to banish it once and for all. In the morning, after telling Grandma what happened, I went to school. But Mark wasn't there. He didn't answer calls or messages. Had something happened to him? He had said he tried to catch the night show every night. Maybe it ended badly for him. Unable to handle the tension, I skipped the last 2 classes and went straight to his house. On the way, Grandma called. She had finally learned to use the mobile phone we gave her. "Alex, I went to the hospital to visit your mom." She was almost shouting into the phone. "How is she?" I asked. "She's okay," Grandma replied, "but she doesn't talk. Says everything is normal, but she looks completely broken." I understood why. She had probably seen something terrifying too. The night show was like a nightmare you couldn't escape. "She'll get better," I said. "Want me to come stay with you tonight?" Grandma asked. "No need, I'm not a little kid." "As you wish." The conversation ended. I reached Mark's building, entered the code, and called his apartment. It was his voice. My heart felt lighter. "Hey Mark, it's Alex. Why weren't you at school?" "Skipped it. Needed to sleep," he answered calmly and buzzed me in. I went up to the 2nd floor. Mark stood in the doorway, looking sleepy and disheveled. "You here on business?" "Yes." "Come over tonight. No one will be home. You can come." "You really have a plan to destroy this thing?" I asked. "I do, and you'll help me." He beckoned me inside. His room looked like a dump. Piles of clothes, crumpled blanket, trash on the floor, snack bags and soda bottles. In the center stood 3 TVs, a big old Reuben, a small Funai, and an ancient black and white Unost. "You'll be the bait," Mark said. "We'll go to your place. You'll sit and watch the TV until it turns on. At that moment, I'll cut the cable. The creature will be trapped in the box, and I'll kill it." "Something about this scares me," I admitted. Mark stepped closer. His gray eyes shone like polished silver. "Do you know what we're doing? We're stopping a quiet invasion. This isn't just a phenomenon. It's a living being from another world. It studies people from the inside to become like us. If we don't stop it, they'll spread everywhere like a virus." "There are many of them?" I asked. "A lot," he confirmed. "We need to kill them all." I wanted to ask what had changed him, and how he knew I wanted to ask what had changed him and where he got all this knowledge from, but I was afraid of being disappointed. I preferred to believe that Mark knew more than anyone else. He had become some kind of ghost hunter. It seemed he had lost the ability to show normal emotions. I told him what happened to my mom. He only replied with a quiet, "Mm-hmm." "Will she recover?" I asked. "If she survived, then everything should be fine," Mark said. We spent almost the entire evening in silence. My task was to sit in the armchair opposite the TV. Mark explained his plan in detail. He took a ring of Krakow sausage from the fridge and tore into it with his teeth while sitting on the windowsill. The floor lamp was on. I could see my reflection in the dark screen and hear Mark loudly chewing behind me. Suddenly the lamp started flickering. "Now," was the last thing I heard from my friend before the nightmare pulled me in again. The image hit my brain instantly. I was transported to the city park where the old carousel was spinning to the melody of the out-of-tune barrel organ. The horses, frozen in running poses, floated past my eyes, followed by the pumpkin carriage, the blue teacup, and the funny donkey. I turned my head, but didn't see the room anymore. There was only the park, the hall of crooked mirrors, the cotton candy stand. Above me wasn't the ceiling, but a gloomy sky. Under my feet, dark, green, wet grass. My sneakers were soaked. In my small hand was a ticket. It smelled of rain, burnt sugar, popcorn, and sawdust. The damp air chilled my skin. I needed to jump onto the carousel, but I was terrified it would drag me underneath. The air sometimes rippled with static. The picture broke for a second, and then became sharp again. The slow waltz looped on a few notes. My head was pounding. Was I dying, or already dead? The night show had completely swallowed me. "Mark!" I screamed in a child's voice.
"Get me out of here." The words dissolved into the space and turned into quiet hissing. This reality seemed to demand silence. The carousel kept spinning. Small particles of interference gathered in one spot right in front of me. Second by second, they formed a shape, and finally became a silhouette. Before me appeared a figure woven from television static. Its unstable image hurt my eyes. Mark was right. The night show was a living creature, the noise man. A trembling black and white hand reached toward my face. Long fingers aimed straight for my eyes. It was probably going to crawl inside my head. I heard a sharp crack and the sound of breaking glass. Everything disappeared. Darkness. Is this death? But my heart was still beating. My lungs were breathing, though my head hurt unbearably. There was a quiet click. The floor lamp turned on. I was sitting in the armchair. In front of me stood the shattered TV. Thick, dark slime was leaking from the hole in the screen onto the floor.
Mark stood nearby, smiling.
"Did it work?" I asked, feeling completely drained.
"Yes, the noise man is dead. Thanks for the help," he said. "Anytime." I tried to stand but couldn't. It felt like I had unloaded 3 train cars. "Do you really want to help more?" Mark asked seriously. "I have a job for you." "I need to think," I answered, though I already regretted saying it. What was he trying to recruit me for? Hunting these creatures? It hardly seemed safe. Tragic twist. I visited my mom in the hospital. She was sitting by the window, staring into the distance with empty eyes. When I told her everything was over and the TV was destroyed, she slowly turned her head. For the first time in days, she spoke in a quiet, broken voice. "Alex, it wasn't just one. Mark, he let it in on purpose. He's not hunting them, he's becoming one of them. I saw it, inside him." I froze. That night, when Mark killed the creature, something had transferred. The dark slime on the floor had moved toward him while I was unconscious. He smiled because he had won. Not against it, but with it. By the time I realized the truth and rushed to his house, it was too late. The 3 TVs in his room were all on at once, showing the same rotating carousel. Mark was sitting in the middle, his eyes filled with static, quietly humming the out-of-tune waltz. He had become the new host. The invasion didn't end, it just found a perfect new carrier who had invited it in. I never saw my old friend again, and sometimes, late at night, I still hear that melancholic melody coming from somewhere far away.